A man who wears nearly 10 pounds of gold.
The nature boy, Ric Flair.
You know, I always like to take this opportunity to talk about myself.
The 16-time heavyweight champion has arrived.
I've got the style and profile like never before.
The greatest talker in the history of the business is behind the mic once again.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine like, jet flying, son of a gun.
This is Wooooo Nation with Ric Flair.
I'm the man. Ric Flair. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ric Flair, the host of Wooooo Nation. 16 times your world champion, along with my co-host, the legendary, the infamous Conrad by God Thompson from Huntsville, Alabama, the second wealthiest man in the state of Alabama, only behind Dr. James Andrews. And Conrad, today, I have had some friends over the years. I've met some famous people over the years. I've laughed, I've cried, and I've had some phenomenal memories over the years. One of the guys that comes to play, in my mind, is one of the most exciting people. All-American, collegiate athlete, all-pro defensive tackle, world champion, Chicago Bears, 1985. Got into our business, became a very good wrestler, allowed everybody to play around. He's the easiest going guy in the world until you piss him off. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my close friends and a guy that I've had more fun with, I've had as much fun with, if not more, than Arn Anderson, and that is saying a lot. The legendary Steve Mongo McMichael from Chicago, Illinois. Mongo, how are you, man?
I'm beautiful, nature boy. How's one of my four horsemen doing, baby? Good Lord, have mercy.
I'm doing good today.
And how's Arn Anderson doing, old Double A?
He's doing great. He's working for the WWE.
Have you told that story on him? I know it embarrasses me. He's late. They've been partying all night, and he's late getting to the airport to meet his wife to go to Hawaii at the gate. He can't find his glasses, and he turns around, and this guy's relative. You know, he's just like a mohair sweater. He's got so much hair on his body, for God's sakes. He turns around, he's looking for his glasses, and they're stuck to his back. Boy,
well,
there's a wrestling road story I'll never forget.
Yeah, we've had some great times. Arn was, intricate and, bringing more humor. Not only was he a great wrestler, as you know, but the thing that, the way this all started was when Steve and Kevin Green got together, and then Arn and I were chosen to wrestle Mongo and Kevin Green, both all pros at the time, or no, retired, but had been all pros in the NFL. And for Arn and I...
Now, wait a minute, Flair. What are you talking? You were chosen, or you the only ones that had your hand up? Because I know how those guys looked at me. Every guy before I went out that curtain to wrestle, now watch the potatoes, Mongo. Yeah. And I was the one getting potatoed, boys.
Yeah, right. No, we were chosen. But we were very honored. And actually, you caught on pretty quickly. We had a really hard time getting Kevin to put it down in second gear, if you remember.
Yeah. Kevin was about, just what I experienced backstage from most wrestlers. Oh, I can't do that move for you. That's not my character.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Well, what about if I just go out there and take it?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have been working there very long, would I?
No. But Kevin, Kevin could go, but we could never get Kevin to slow it down enough. And the greatest moment of my life in terms of being and laughing and enjoying a moment is Mongo sold, I'm sure you saw it, Conrad, and we gave the hot tag to Kevin, and I was legal, and Kevin almost killed me. He asked me earlier if he could suplex me. I said no, didn't make any difference. He gave me a vertical suplex. And then, of course, Arn fed, and Kevin got down in a three-point stance, and he hit Arn coming through the rope with a forearm, that cartwheeled Arn. I was laying there dying. And Arn and I are both begging off to the opposite corner, just waiting for the briefcase. Jesus Christ!
I shouldn't have took it easy on him with that metal briefcase. I should have just dented his head with it.
Oh Jesus!
What did Tonga used to call me, Stiffy?
Yeah.
And that don't mean I was aroused. It means I would sink it in, baby.
Conrad, go ahead, man. Start up on him.
Well, I mean, first we got to talk about football, Mr. McMichael. Coach Ditka once said you were the toughest player he ever coached. Surely you've got some good Ditka stories for us, right?
Oh, my goodness, boys. He calls me from his restaurant. He's got Dan Marino up there, and he wants somebody to come up there and shine a little bit. And after I went up there, Marino looked at my ring and said, "Look at that, 18-1. I'm that one." And I said, "But you ain't got no ring, do you, moron?" But anyway, he calls me up. He's drunk as a skunk. "McMichael, get your butt up here. I made you." I retorted, "Like you made all those asses in New Orleans, huh, Coach?" But I still went up there, boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've gone just about everywhere. Where haven't you gone?
I've been kicked out of places like Wrigley Field, for God's sake.
Oh, we were going to discuss that. You're not supposed to be hollering things that are inappropriate to the officials down there when you're there to sing "Let's Go Out to the Ballpark."
I didn't say nothing he don't hear on the rail every game. Fans cussing him. I didn't cuss at him. I just told everybody, you don't have to boo him. I'll have speaks with him after the game. Look, and what they were booing him for at the end of the game, the Cubs slid home. It was a closer play, and he'd called the Cub out in the 7th inning. He said, "Safe." The Cubs won the game. The freaking paper should have read, "Mongo gets the save the next day, boys." You kicked me out. I'll still wait for you in the parking lot, moron. Yeah.
So, Mongo,
the first time I remember seeing you involved with wrestling was in the WWF during the promotion for the Lawrence Taylor match at WrestleMania. How did that come about? Did he reach out to you, or did the WWF, or how did that come about where you were involved at WrestleMania like that?
The promotion had come through Green Bay when I was up there playing my last year. And Reggie White was all about wrestling, too. I wrestled him at a pay-per-view. After I turned on Kevin and became a horseman, he had a problem with it. Well, I fixed him, too, baby. You remember, Flair, you remember that match with Reggie?
Of course.
I told the guy on the apron with the handheld camera, when I get Reggie in the turnbuckle, get that camera up close to me because I got something to say to America. Well, I got him in the turnbuckle. I dropped down on my knee and did an uppercut into his crotch. Well, he sold it and hit the ground. I stood up and looked in the camera. You know what I said, boys? You remember what I said?
No.
Oh, Reverend, I think I hear the church bells ringing now. That was one of my best lines ever as a wrestler.
Oh, God. You've had a lot of good lines. My favorite is, Conrad, like you, I swear to God, every Monday, Mongo shows up with $15,000 minimum cash in his pocket. And I go, "Mongo," but by the time he went back home,
there was a lot of street joints along that road, being a traveling carny that I hadn't hit, baby.
Yeah, but so I go, "Mongo, what the hell you do with $15,000 every week?" He'd come in on Monday, wouldn't go home till Friday. He just stayed on the road. He said, "Kid, I got more money than I got time."
Oh, yeah. Well, that was us laughing backstage. Man, I got something. There was more fun in that backstage in that locker room on the wrestling road than I'd ever had on a football road because, that was a grind and that was serious. But, man, that locker room backstage, that was what made it fun for me because the road was – you're a traveling carny, Flair. Jesus Christ.
I'm traveling with you.
Yeah.
The problem is,
every man's got to get out and experience his Dante's Inferno. And let me tell you what, I've been to the night gate of hell. Yeah. Where would that be? Some places like Houma, Louisiana. Yeah. I don't care who you are, what race you are. You don't stay there after dark. You get out of that town. Places like that. Yeah. Beautiful.
So, Mongo, tell us some Ric Flair partying stories. Nating is a thing everybody wants to talk about on the show, and surely you've got a fun drinking story or partying story with Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Flair. He wears his panties out in the ring. He's an exhibitionist. You know that, don't you? All right. We're at Caesar's Palace, and when you walk in the round casino and then the elevators, that main little walkway to the cross, and you're at the elevators to go up to the rooms. All right. I'm there after a pay-per-view, and I'm playing blackjack at one of the tables on that, that walkway to go to the elevators, and I hear, woo! I turn around. I don't know what he'd been doing upstairs, but he was fully erect. He's got one of his robes on, and I hear, woo! I turn around, he's flashing the whole casino. Was I just drunk and dreaming that, Flair? Did you actually do it?
Yeah, you were drunk and dreaming. I could never have done that.
I guess, yeah. I had a lot of dreams about you, Flair, and the devil, who was right on your shoulder, saying, go ahead and do it. And I did.
That's awesome.
Well, listen, for telling that story, I'm going to tell about all the times you started out at Nitro and we couldn't find you for Thunder.
Oh, yeah. You remember that time Charles Barkley was waiting for me in Phoenix to do a Nitro show. We just done a pay-per-view in Vegas, but I had 3 girls up there in the bed at where was it, the MGM, and I called up old Dick Dillinger, told him, well, son, if you had this scenario going on, would you come to Phoenix? And he went, well, I guess we'll see you next week, Mongo.
Hey,
oh, boy.
Listen, so when I had the Gold's Gyms, Conrad, I had Steve come open up one of them. He said he came into Charlotte, and so I had a limo pick him up, and we went and did the signing, and so this is the greatest story of all time. So the limo driver, Steve goes, I said, Steve, I got to go home. I'm still married, barely, but I got to go home. And Mongo said, well, I'll just take the car out for a while. So I go into my gym at South Park the next day at noon, right, to work out. And the guy that owns the company was working out at the gym. He says, where'd your friend go? And I said, I don't know. I guess he's back at the hotel. He said, he's not back at the hotel. He said, and my car's not back yet. I said, what time is it? He said, it's noon. I said, you kidding? We didn't find Mongo until 6 p.m. that night. And then he checked into the hotel.
To show up.
No, hey, listen, then he checks into the South Park suites and calls me because he's already gone through 10 grand and says, can I have $1,500? I said, of course you can. I went and got $1,500, and he just stayed in the hotel for another 3 days. And then I had my big Christmas party with 300 people, right? 300 people, bankers, girls, all that. And Mongo comes walking downstairs.
This was Flair's Christmas party to thank all his business partners, everything in Charlotte. You've been good partners. Well, I show up, I'm dressed up like Bad Santa. I got the Santa costume on. I haven't shaved, so I've got 3 days of stubble, and I'm carrying a Jack Daniels bottle and drinking straight out of it.
And smoking a cigar.
Flair, have you ever seen Flair ghost white pale and can't utter a word? I'm walking in this party, thinks, oh my God, I've lost them all.
Yeah.
By the time that night was over, every one of them's wife had sit in my lap and took a picture, smiling, baby. Yeah.
Hey, he looked like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places. The only thing he didn't have was a hunk of salmon hanging out of his jacket.
That's where I got the character.
God. I don't even know
you ruined it.
When did you go home? I don't remember.
I didn't. After after that first one lost her scholarship, I was on the search, and I finally found her, baby. I was just here playing Go Fish with our offspring. Boy, it's great being the dad for her. I'm glad I waited, because it would have brought me down to earth so bad I would have been a pussy out on the football field.
Yeah, Mongo.
Flair, she jumped. FYI, Conrad. 7 years old, she jumps up on the bed the other day to look at me. I said, "Don't worry, you're going to be tall like Daddy one day." But she said, "But not as fat, right?" So it's great. The other day, they're both ignoring me, and I'm in here play whining. You know what she's out here say from across the hallway, yelling? "You know you're great. Quit your whining."
Who said that? Your daughter said that to you?
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome. How old is she? How old is she now, Steve?
I'm living the good life now, baby. It's beautiful.
How old is she now?
7.
7 years old.
7 years old in second grade.
Wow.
That second grade homework's getting hard too, baby. Good Lord.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Every bit of homework for me was hard for 13 years.
That's always been your genius. You've always been able to forget the past.
Yeah.
Let's move on. I've done that already.
TuneIn Radio is the one app you need for all things audio. Now the TuneIn Premium. You can listen to every live NFL game for only $7.99 a month and get unlimited access to 40,000 audio books and commercial-free music, all for one low price. TuneIn Premium, all the audio you want for $7.99 a month. Woo! And then your boys going to take a quick trip on Space Mountain. You better be here when I get back.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Hey, Steve, so let's go back to the to UT, okay?
The University of Texas. I know somebody from, well, he's from Huntsville. He's not from Tuscaloosa, so he's all right with that.
No, Steve, you were born in Austin, right?
I was born south of San Antonio.
Okay.
In the brush country where the oil fields are.
But you played football, high school football in Texas.
You better play high school football in Texas Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, and then you went to UT, right?
Yeah, then I went to UT to play for Darrell Royal, and he retires after my freshman year. And we got Fred Akers. I was a sophomore on that Earl Campbell team that lost to Joe Montana in the Cotton Bowl for the national championship. I should have had one of my friends scope him in from 300 yards and kill him there.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bad guy to lose to.
After that, he kept me from 2 rings in pro football. So that's 3 rings that guy kept from me.
Do you see Joe socially at all now?
Well, it's proof positive I didn't have a bounty on him back in the day, or he'd be dead. Well, I saw him, and before Katrina hit, you know, they have old Super Bowl champs do appearances, and they had us on that paddle boat out there on Pontchartrain, and I didn't understand a word he said for 30 minutes, but he was raising horses, because all those old 80s quarterbacks my defense played against and hit them in the head are all punch drunk now. I saw Danny White walking down an airport looking up at the ceiling like he was looking at the stars. And I apologize. We were doing a card show in San Antonio, and he walked in, was staring at him. I said, "Who's that old man?" Walked in, Danny White, and I apologize to him. Me and Randy White made up.
Yeah, God.
We was at an airport together, and we hugged and made up.
Yeah, Randy looks good,
each other like sailors. Yeah.
Randy looks damn good.
It's all good, baby, you know.
Jeez. Well, tell me, so from there, how did you get into the restaurant business in Austin? Because that's where you made all your big money, right, to start out with?
Well, my partner in Austin, who became my agent at the beginning of my pro football career, because he was a lawyer and he was in the House of Representatives and wrote the Ethics Bill of Texas. His name was Larry Bales. And he already owned a place across from the Capitol named Schultz's Beer Garden. He got tired of running it, so he let some guy rent it out, and he went under. So he got it back, but he needed the capital to, get the kitchen equipment, all the other stuff. And so I went to have partners with him. And it ran pretty good. It was the bar I used to go into because it was right off campus at UT.
On 6th Street,
so I would go in there, and that's where I met him when I was playing for Texas. And we got a friendship going. Yeah, it was pretty lucrative there for a while. And before he died, I let him buy me out, and we made enough money.
Oh, cool. You only had one? I thought you had more than one place.
No, just had one back when I played.
Oh, okay.
I've had two up here. Closed one of them down a year later because I should have. I opened this one up around this lake I lived at outside of town, and didn't realize hearing the ambulances come every day to pick up another dead retiree. I shouldn't have had live music like a honky tonk. I should have had a 4:00 senior buffet. Maybe that place would still be open.
Well, how's the new one working out for you? I've seen pictures of it.
Oh, it's great. It's a sports bar here in Romeoville where I live called Mongo McMichael. It's got all the Bears don't have a Hall of Fame. Most teams, they have a Hall of Fame building. We go in and see all the history. Well, they don't have one, so I'll put one. That's what that is. It's like a museum, a sports bar museum. It's got all the Bear memorabilia in it and some of the other sports teams in town. I got an old Cubs jacket in there. Good Lord. So I tell Bear fans, well, don't worry. It's been 30 years, but at least it ain't 100.
Yeah. Jeez. It's funny. Coach Fox is a real good friend of mine. I thought the Bears would be better this year.
Let me tell you what, when he was in Charlotte and they came to town, the Bears had a pretty good defense, and that's when old Peanut Tillman was all pro.
Yeah.
And Fox and old Steve Smith and what was that Cajun quarterback's name?
Delone?
Jake Delone. Boy, they toasted old Peanut. I said the next day in my radio show, I said, yeah, if I was in that locker room, his name would be changed from Peanut to Roasted Nuts now. But he's been pretty good. I mean, if you can coach up Tim Tebow up in Denver to throw for 300 yards in a playoff game, I think you know what you're doing. Yeah.
He does. I just can't. I just feel like. And I know
these guys quit on him up here.
Yeah, I like Cutler a lot, but he
don't care, baby.
He's on one game and off the next.
Look, it's just I tell people in the real world, you're going to contract some work out, and you're going to pay that contractor that guaranteed money up front. What do you think's going to happen? He's going to do it when he wants to do it and how he wants to do it, and he ain't going to care too much how it turns out. That's what they're getting in the NFL.
Yeah. Do you go to a lot of the games, Steve?
No, I got that radio show before the games, and then I go to Mongo's for the games. Everybody expects me to be there, so I'm there.
Yeah, because when I was there for that playoff game, remember when Urlacher brought me in? And you were there doing your radio show, and they walked me all over. It was freezing. Remember against New Orleans? And you and I were talking. We never did. We never did meet. I said, "Where's Mongo?"
Me walking into Soldier Field is like Lamar Odom walking into a whorehouse in Vegas. He's going to get swarmed, and they're going to try to kill him. All right, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh!
Did you like that metaphor, baby? I'll give you a visual.
That is the best.
They're going to swarm you, baby.
Go ahead, good Conrad.
Lord.
Did it recognize you without your hair?
Yeah, because it's blown back in fear. Yeah.
Oh, God. I was doing a signing at Field of Dreams in Vegas, and all of a sudden I hear somebody comes over and grabs me around the neck, throws me out of the chair, lifts me up, and there's Mongo standing there and says, "Baby, where are we going tonight? I got it all set."
Yeah, I said, Lawrence Taylor's having his birthday party over here at this club. We're going. And we did.
We did. And I have to say, and I said it to a lot of people, I've walked into a lot of places before with a lot of famous people, and had some serious, people take notice. But walking into a nightclub with Mongo and LT is a whole different world, man.
Oh, yeah, it's like you're with Moses and the water's parting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the bodyguards were trying to tell Mongo something. Mongo would tell the bodyguards, don't come near me.
Yeah, excuse me. Go handle that over there. God, look, even the bouncers wouldn't mess with me in Austin one night. I walked into the S&M ball at 4 a.m. at this place called the Bratos. I had a spiked dog collar on, handcuffs, and a whip. Yeah, the crowd parted that night. And those were stone cold freaks, Flair.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Conrad does.
Oh, I know you don't. Thank God.
Hey, so you guys both did some outdoor shows with WCW. They called them Road Wild and Hog Wild. Surely there's some fun Mongo stories from that biker event.
Sturgis and Mongo. Mongo is the king of Sturgis. It's not.
Oh, baby.
Oh, hey, listen, the greatest story, and I know it makes me sad, but when I think about Steve, I think more about my son who idolized Steve. We've got a couple great stories about Steve personally. My little boy Reed loved Mongo, right? And Mongo would always play with him, and he threw him on the back of the motorcycle.
No, I had an altar of me in his room. I know that made you chartreuse, Flair. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. No, but he'd say, he'd go, kid, feel this right here, and he'd flex his tricep, and Reed would touch his tricep, and Mongo would say, see, that's harder than dried dog shit, kid. Hey, then he goes out and buys a vest and a bandana and puts it on Reed. His mother's standing there, throws Reed on the back of the motorcycle and rides off into Sturgis with him.
Yeah, we'll see you later, brother. I'm going to go teach this little boy something. Yeah.
You did. Beth was mortified. Yeah, Mongo walked into every bar in Sturgis and punches everybody because it even looks at him cross-eyed. It's insanity.
No, I didn't punch him, Flair. They just knew I was gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the NFL to Sturgis.
Yeah. Just like Roy should have known when he started popping that tiger in the head with that mic, something was gonna happen. Yeah.
Conrad, take over, man.
So, hey, who did you ride with back in the day, Mongo? Everybody likes to talk about who the riding partners were. Back in the day in WCW, who were your traveling partners?
Well, it was all the jabronis because they knew that the organization was getting me a free rent-a-car. So, boy, they would all be waiting to pile in. I was like the Pied Piper. Flair, he's in limos in his own private plane, hell, and you think he's inviting me?
Yeah,
you know why? Because then there's no witnesses, my friend. Heaven knows what Flair has done in his life, my pal. But we're just getting the upper cream of it. We ain't. There's multi-levels of Flairdom out there.
This is why you're not. This is why you're not getting on 30 for 30 on my life story.
Yeah. And if they ask me, I'm going to say I didn't see nothing. I didn't walk in your hotel room and see your dentist grabbing on you, and I looked at her and said, "That's not his tooth, honey."
God, that is so untrue. My dentist.
This is great theater for this podcast, baby. None of this is true, people. Jesus. You know wrestling. It's a promotion, for God's sakes. I had grown men wearing $1,000 suits because, the WCW fly me around first class, God bless them. They would sit down next to me in first class and find out who I am, and they would look at me and go, "Is wrestling real?" You know what? I'd tell them, "You ain't investing none of my money, moron."
I know. Nobody gets it, Mongo. And you have
Nobody
to admit,
gets it. It's just like I texted you last night. I'll cast some more pearls before swine, Nature Boy. It's all right, baby.
So, Conrad, are you okay?
Oh man, I'm good.
Yeah, I think. Hey, have you, Nature Boy? Has Mr. Alabama ever been speechless?
Well, I know when there's gold, and I know when it's time to lay out. Let me ask you guys.
You know when it's time to tap out, baby.
Yes, sir.
See, you'd have been a good wrestler.
I'm trying to let the stars shine here, but let's go ahead and get you guys engaged about a conversation about the Horsemen. Rick, how did that come about? How did Mongo first join the Horsemen? Whose idea was that? And kind of curious through the process of how do we pick Mongo as a Horseman?
Well, it was a natural. I suggested it day one, but originally Steve just came on to announce, But, I mean, to this day, I've never seen Mongo work out, but I know people that have seen him bench press 600 pounds, so he must have gone to the gym at one point in his life. I mean, I'm talking about 600-pound bench press, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I worked out with 520.
Yeah.
And bent bars in weight rooms when I played football. But, when you live that gym rat life, when it's finally you don't have to do that no more, you're so sick of doing it, you can't step foot in another gym, baby.
Yeah.
Look how poor Arnold Schwarzenegger is sagging now, for God's sakes. You think he works out like he used to? And that's what I told 30 for 30, Flair.
What?
Their interview said, and all that crap's about it. We want to see some fall so that it's got some salaciousness in it. You know what I'm saying? And everything. I think that's what sells. Well, I said, you guys want to know about the rise and fall, do you? Well, let me tell you about the fall. It's called gravity. And she's a cruel mistress. I got things sagging on me shouldn't be sagging.
Man.
That's the fall.
Yeah. Hey, if you think you do, you ought to see me. I've become a cosmetic nightmare.
They can't fix us, Flair. They can't fix us.
I refuse to let Wendy see me with the lights on.
Yeah. Look, I know what gravity has done to my testicles, pulling them down. Why didn't it do it to the schlong too, for God's sake?
Oh my!
Think about that.
So, Mongo, talking about joining WCW, how did that first come about? Did you grow up a wrestling fan? Did they contact you?
The little guy running the WCW at the time named Eric Bischoff was selling meat here in Chicago when I was doing a TV show and was a fan. Because I won the local Emmy for doing a sports extra show here in town while I was playing ball. So, when he heard, I did the WrestleMania with Lawrence Taylor, and he was running the WCW time. When he saw that, he said, well, Mongo might be interested in coming here. He gave me a call, and at the same time, Vince McMahon was offering William Perry and me to come on board to be the All-Pro Tag Team. But I knew William wasn't of the substance to be traveling like a carny.
Right.
We'd have been missing him on the road all the time. And Sherry Perry said, his wife at the time, she lost her scholarship too, saying that wasn't enough money. Well, Eric Bischoff calls me at the same time when his wife is saying this ain't going to happen and offers me this job just commentating because he knew, I have a repartee and a wit when I get on air, just like I won the local Emmy here. Well, I went to work for the WCW on being a commentator with Bobby the Stain Heenan, and that was for calling my little black chihuahua the tarantula.
So tell me about Bobby Heenan.
Eric wanted to grab some headlines and get the people's watching the Vince McMahon stuff to start paying attention to the WCW. And that big pay-per-view he had with me turning on Kevin Green and going to Four Horsemen with Flair and Arn, and then Nash and Hall coming on board that same night. I don't know if they ever had a bigger pay-per-view. Did they, Flair?
The only one I can think of might have been the one with Sting and Hogan. And you weren't there at that time, Steve. You'd already gone home for a while.
But when we were doing that stuff, it's when the clock turned to the WCW.
Yeah.
And people were watching that more than they were watching McMahon's promotion.
Yeah, that's for sure. TuneIn Radio is the one app you need for all things audio. Now the TuneIn Premium. You can listen to every live NFL game for only $7.99 a month and get unlimited access to 40,000 audio books and commercial-free music, all for one low price. TuneIn Premium, all the audio you want for $7.99 a month. Woo! All the ladies love Slick Rick. You know they love Wooooo Nation. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Well, it was a natural, too. We had, it was Malenko, Benoit, Arn, me, and Mongo. I mean, it was, and of course, Steve, as you can tell, not only looked the part, but he could talk. By that I mean he could rap on the mic. Arn,
you got to sell this. You got to sell the story, or you're just a jabroni, baby. You remember that night we got Bischoff in the ring when he was turning NWO, and we were going to shave his head. Yeah, and I didn't realize the kid colored his hair. He was already gray-headed, but he had a black head of hair. Well, I got the razor and went straight down the middle of his head, from his forehead to his neck, and it was ash white under there. And I turned to the mic, and it wasn't scripted, baby. I turned to the mic and said, "Well, don't you look like the skunk that you are now?"
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Good times, Flair.
Oh, God. So many good times, Steve. Hey, so, Steve, we'll go.
Conrad, we're going to have some more, baby. You're coming in town January 16th, right?
Yeah, for that 30 for 30 for Thuzio.
Oh, yeah.
You got to come down.
I looked at the calendar if I'm finally open when you're in town, because I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, doing a card show last time you were here. So we'll get it on, baby. Yeah. God, I hope I don't. I hope you don't. My hair's turning gray already. Don't shock it into total white, please.
I won't. Hey, so Conrad, I'm at a store in Dayton, Ohio last week, right? So the owner comes up to me, and I got a signing, and Steve was there 2 weeks ago or a week ago at that sports store, and the guy goes to me, Mongo said about you? I said, Mongo. I said, what was he doing here? He said, he did a signing. He said, you know what he said about you? That every time you get $1 million, you have to give half of it to your wife, to another wife. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. I'm from South Texas, so I speak Spanish, and I just started numbering them. I think you were on Cuatro by the time I'd left. Something like that. It got to Cinco, didn't it, baby? God almighty.
No, not Cinco yet, maybe. I love Cinco, but and I finally got a nice one, but Jesus.
Well, you're worse than Bobby Bowden down there passing out them damn fake scholarships. Barry Switzer did that to me when I was in high school ball. Called me up and said, Steve, I'm going to give you $2,000 a month, any car you want, a condo in downtown Norman, and what degree do you want, son? I didn't think that was right, so I went to University of Texas, where I actually had to go to class, for God's sakes. What's the world coming to?
Yeah, somehow I missed that when I went to Minnesota. I couldn't quite figure out why I'd walk a mile in 30 below weather when I could just stay in the fraternity house.
Well, look at it like the glass is half full. By the time you left, they paid you to leave. Yeah.
Yeah. The hardest thing for me was telling my mom and dad I was still in school while I was out for a year.
Oh, yeah.
How's school? That's great, Mom.
Do you boys know why I don't have a problem with maybe brain damage and dementia's coming on? Because I'm just talking to Flair, and it just reminds me, there's some shit I've done in my life I want to forget.
Why do I remind you that?
Because it's burned on my brain like a photographic negative, for God's sake, some of the stuff I've seen. Ooh. give you chills. But I'm not going to talk about it because it's just a few days from Christmas, and I want Santa to still think I'm a good boy.
Hey, well, you are a good boy.
I really am.
You got a beautiful wife. You got a beautiful daughter, and life is good for Mongo, man. I mean, I see a lot of the guys, Steve, and I haven't seen you in a couple of years, but you're still in good health, right? No knees, no hips, nothing, right?
Look, this is what I tell. Here's another public service announcement for every parent listening to this podcast that's got a little kid playing. First of all, put a neck collar on him because it diminishes the brain movement, which is called whiplash and then concussion. Every kid should wear a neck collar. I want to get a national program going. The shoulder pad companies should put the neck collar on it before they sell it. So every kid they don't have a choice. You guys understand? It alleviates the pinched nerves you get that trouble you every day when you're an old man. So those are some of the things the parents can do for a kid instead of wanting somebody else to be the role model. You understand?
Yeah. Well, hey, Steve,
wow.
You're not having any problem with that, are you?
No, I was getting to this, Snitch. And this is the next thing I tell them to joke around. Play your kid on defense because you give the concussions, you don't get them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah. You saw my defense.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody concussing us, or was it the other way around?
It was the other way around.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, you know, I see Jim Dent all the time and McMahon all the time on the road at signings and that.
Yeah, they're still traveling carnies too, baby. God almighty. Well, it's a good life.
Jim has got some major concussion issues, though, right?
Well, God, the way we tore up the other team's quarterback, I would tell him, you're a marked man, son. They're going to dirty you.
Yeah.
After we hurt their quarterback, and he would stand there and try to evade the tackle or sack and just get blown up. I'd see. I haven't seen that much action in a damn serial killer movie.
Yeah.
The way they used to tear his butt up. Yeah. So naturally he's going to have some problems. But, you know, I just was at his last birthday party and drinking and telling those stories. Because usually when a guy's brain damage, he starts drinking, he really ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was there. This is, you know, him forgetting how to get home and stuff like that. It's just short term. But it builds up.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
You think this movie with Will Smith is going to rock the world?
Well, I just saw the trailer of that thing, and it's like the NFL is calling this guy and threatening him.
Yeah.
What the hell do they think the NFL is in this movie? The mafia?
Yeah. No, I know.
Jesus Christ, they're threatening the guy's life. Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened. It's sensational stuff for the movie, you know.
No, they're saying that that when this first came around, that this story is pretty much dead on. True, I watched a documentary on it. And
have you seen the attorney after this movie? This movie's in the can, and people have seen it. Has the attorney general filed charges on the NFL for what do they call it when you call somebody and threaten to kill them?
I don't know.
That's a crime, you know.
Not that I know of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just like, ooh, does the NWO really hate the Four Horsemen? Hell no, they didn't hate us because without us, what happened?
I love your attitude.
They learned, didn't they, Flair?
Yeah. Hey, here's the deal.
Running in on everybody's match, morons.
So, Mongo, I'm curious, will you see the movie, or are you silently protesting the movie?
No, I'll watch it.
But you don't think that the NFL intentionally covered anything up, or you?
Hell, son, I watched Debbie Does Dallas and thought there wasn't enough substance in that movie.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, Flair, you love me, don't you, baby?
I do, man. There's only one Mongo. And like
really?
LT said, uncensored, man.
And look here. You know they just put Warren Sapp in the Hall of Fame with 96 sacks and 470 tackles, don't you?
Yeah.
I can't even get a sniff, and I had 95 sacks and 850 tackles. Wow. I wonder why that is, Flair. You know why?
Why?
Because when I'd walk in the visiting locker room after whipping some out-of-town team's butt in their own stadium, I knew them reporters had been talking smack about me the week before we come into town. So I would just walk through them, wade through them like I had on duck waders and I was duck hunting and say, "Get out of my way, vultures." Well, I'm not getting that guy's vote, am I?
No, probably not. Well, it's not a question of how good you were because that's pretty much legend. Hey.
Yeah, well, look, there's guys in that Hall of Fame. I've whipped their butts, baby. So it should be a super Hall of Fame for me, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'll vote for you. Hey, Mongos, what's your take on, I'm pretty good friends, actually really good friends with Urlacher, right? So what's your take on the McCaskies and the stuff with Butkus and Urlacher and that? I mean, what's the deal with that? I mean, Dick Butkus lives in San Diego now or something like that.
Somebody that the boss that owns the company, you're not going to get much sympathy out of him.
Yeah.
Unless you're the one he knows he can't do without. And if I hadn't been one of those guys, the McCaskies would have gotten rid of me long before I set records.
Yeah. Wow. So,
businessmen that don't care after they get paid are not the guys to put on your football team, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you guys were, I mean, that team you guys had, everybody on that team cared, and everybody put out hard.
Well, we had guys in the locker room that if you didn't care, there was going to be a problem.
Yeah, but I'm talking
you weren't going to be on the team long because that's what kind of coach we had too.
Yeah, with Ditka, you mean?
Dick could come to his first practice with the Bears. I was already on the team. You know what he said? Well, boys, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I got a plan. In a couple of years, we're going to Super Bowl. The bad news is half you turds ain't going to be here to enjoy it. That woke everybody up, baby, because by the time the next year came around, that team and half the players on that team had turned over. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, you get when I came to the Bears, they're all, and I don't know how the hell Walter Payton was getting 1,000 yards a year behind a bunch of dock workers. Union labor. And I would go through them like shit through a goose in practice, and I was the one even playing. And maybe that should have given them a clue to who should have been playing before I did, huh? So don't think that just because somebody's running the football team or the coach of it, don't think he ain't a moron.
Listen, we need to send this podcast to the NFL for Roger.
Wake him up.
For Roger Goodell to summarize.
Look at all the thugs they got playing in the NFL now. Do you think I would fight you on the street, Flair? You want to compete, but you don't do it on the football field and cost your team.
Yeah.
That Odell Beckham, they need to win the next game. Well, he got suspended for acting like some thug on the football field this weekend. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to be smarter than that. So that kid's a moron.
Yeah. Well, I like that. It's funny. That came out of nowhere.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
But grow up. You ain't sucking on mom's teeth anymore. Grow up.
Conrad, go ahead, please.
Well,
Conrad, I've barely heard from you this whole show, baby. What's
I'll tell you what, I'm listening. I'm enjoying it like everybody else. Let's talk a little wrestling for a minute.
Conrad, that's what the reporters here in town are melancholy about. I wasn't the only entertainer on that football team. That's why the 85 Bears, are going to be in the pantheon of pro football forever.
Sure.
Because we weren't just football players, we were entertainers. And they would come in the locker room. They didn't have to say nothing. They just present themselves in front of one of my teammates and write the whole column just for what he said.
No, I totally believe that. I mean, this is something that everybody could just lay out and listen to you guys talk about football. I mean, you obviously know what you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about another guy who knew what he was doing, Bobby Heenan. Both of you guys, both you and Rick, spent a lot of time with Bobby. Bobby was a special guy, and You had an opportunity to work with him. Surely you got some good stories there.
Listen, guys like Flair and Bobby and, the should be on the Mount Rushmore. God, it's not that way anymore, is it?
No, poor Bobby has been through so much.
Bobby had have a little. He pulled out a picture in his wallet on a plane one day, me getting to know him, and he said, "Let me show you a picture of my pride and joy." And I thought he was going to show me a picture of his kids or something. He showed me, and it's in his wallet. Showed me a picture of a bottle of pride and a bottle of joy. That's what kind of dry humor he had.
Yeah, a woman sat down next to him on a plane one time and said, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "I'm a salesman." And the woman says, "What do you sell?" He says, "Turnbuckles and backdrops."
Let me give you all a joke, and you can tell this one in church to the preacher. Two guys playing golf every day. Lightning hits a golf cart, kills them both. They're up in heaven. St. Peter says, "I got good news and bad news. The good news is God's got a golf course. You two going to get to play golf together for eternity. The bad news is that God's a bird lover, and if you kill a bird out here, he's instructed me to go find the ugliest foul-mouthed woman you've ever seen in your life and handcuff her to you for eternity." Well, 100 years goes by, finally a guy slides, kills a duck. Here comes St. Peter flying over the hill with Roseanne Barr. It's been 100 years. She's dead. You understand? I just throw that one in there because it's great. Anyway, handcuffs her to the guy. The other guy thinks, "I've learned my lesson," starts teeing off with his putter, right? It's been 1,000 years he ain't killed a bird. Regardless, here comes St. Peter flying over the hill with another woman. But as he gets closer, he notices something's different right off. The girl's beautiful. Best looking thing he's ever seen. Handcuffs her to him. He turns and looks at St. Peter's and says, "Well, St. Peter, I didn't know this was part of the deal." The girl speaks up and says, "It ain't double ugly. I just killed a goose in the other fairway." There you go.
Gosh.
You can tell that one at every charity golf tournament you go to, Flair.
God. You never cease to amaze me. You haven't slowed down a bit, pal.
No. Why?
That's what I say.
Why?
You know the song, right? You never slow down, you never grow old.
Look, everybody sees what's happening on the pro football field. When you slow down, it's when you get hurt.
Yeah. Well, Mary Jane.
Don't slow down.
Mary Jane.
It's like Willie May said, don't turn around, they're catching up.
Yeah. Mary Jane, I don't know, but I've been told you never slow down, you never grow old. Woo-woo.
Oh, baby.
So, Mongo, why'd you decide to get out of the carny business and leave wrestling in '99? What happened at the end there with WCW?
They wanted me to go back on TV here in Chicago and pay me big money to do it, baby. So I ain't got to go drive to wherever in America overnight and get into the ring and get slammed around by these bunch of potato-throwing carny hucksters. Yeah. No, but really, I know the old man with the old football injuries, I never told anybody this, Flair, but I'm going to tell you right now. Because everybody, I know Arn put in his book, well, he went to the strip joint for a week and we never saw him again.
Who, you?
It was in Philadelphia, and I was at the strip joint. But something started grabbing the inside of my leg. You know where that big vein that runs up to your heart is?
Yeah.
Inside of your thigh. Something started paining me, and it felt like somebody's grabbing and just pulling. So I went to the hospital and found out I had a blood clot that almost killed me. I had to take some Coumadin that night. And y'all didn't see me after Philly, Rick.
No, but I heard about it. Weren't you with Scott Hall that particular night?
Because it's when I found out I had type 2 diabetes and the blood clots that were coming from it were going to kill me.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You're diabetic now?
I'm type 2 diabetic. All those physicals they give you on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might as well be a snake oil salesman.
I didn't know you were type 2 diabetic. Well, you still drank?
I didn't either.
Are you on insulin or pills?
No, I just don't do sugar anymore. Type 2, you can control it.
What about drinking?
If you're a soldier, At first, I checked into the hospital with 1,200 blood sugar. They said, we don't know how you're still alive.
Yeah, God dang. Well, so
I'd eaten 6 Krispy Kreme donuts and drank some chocolate milk that morning.
Yeah, hey, Conrad, this is...
Might spike you a little bit, huh?
Hey, so Are you allowed to drink now?
No, I can drink vodka. I can't drink, hard, like Jack Daniels or something or Crown Royal like I used to. They make it with sugar. I can't drink it.
You could drink vodka, though, right?
It's potatoes.
Yeah, good. You got it. Don't tell me you're not drinking. That wouldn't be you.
I saw some 110-year-old Russian woman sitting at the table eating yogurt, smoking a cigarette, drinking vodka at 7 in the morning. I guess that's all right. Look, but I tell everybody to be happy and live. This is what I tell vegans. You're going to die too. Hey, Conrad. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Yeah. Hey, Conrad. So I keep thinking of stories with me and Steve and when he came to Charlotte. So my daughter, Megan, she's
married now.
Yeah, she's married now and got a little girl. So Mongo and myself and Beth and Megan, right? Like Megan is in love with Mongo. She's just turned 20 or something like that, right? So we go to the basketball game, and then we go to this club. We go to this club afterwards.
As well she should be, Flair.
What?
I said, every little 20-year-old girl, the way I look back then, as well they should have loved me.
No, she did. Let me tell you, this is a great story. So Mongo, we go downtown, and of course, we go to this club, and here's Glenn Rice, Anthony Mason. Glenn Rice is being real nice all over Mongo. Anthony Mason comes across as kind of a hard ass. So Mongo said, hey, come here. And so Anthony Mason, like 6'8", whatever he was walking over, and Mongo said, I didn't like you when you were with the Knicks, and I don't like you now. You got a problem with that?
Yeah.
You couldn't take Mongo anywhere, Conrad. Anthony Mason was pretty rude. And who was the other kid that was here? The kid from Syracuse.
Are you going to get the sweetest guy in the world? I'm a teddy bear until you come up and present yourself like you want to compete, baby. Then you're going to get the dragon, yeah.
Well, so anyway, after he's insulted everybody in the club, we left, and on a high note.
They were there.
Yeah, and we go back to the hotel, and Megan says to me, I'm going to walk Mongo to the elevator. I go, oh, God, this isn't good. And so Mongo gets to the elevator, he gets in, and he looks at Megan and goes, come back when you grow up, girl, you're still living in a high school world. How'd that saying go? Come back, grow up, and come back when you grow up, girl. You're still living in a little girl world. She came out. She was so upset. I said, "Thank God."
That's the best thing I could have done for her, wasn't it, Flair?
Yeah, it sure is. Thank you. I'm indebted to you.
Yeah.
You're still living in a paper doll world. That was it.
Yeah.
So, Mongo, before we let you go, share some more Arn Anderson stories. He's our most requested guest on the show. Everybody wants to hear Arn Anderson horseman stories.
Double A, I look at you like the prophet that nobody knows about from wrestling, my friend. Do you know what he wrote in his book about Mongo? I already told you one excerpt, but this was one. You have to be a seer to see things like this. If because they only knew me in wrestling for 3 years.
Right.
Lord, it's been 30 years since I won that Super Bowl. Can you imagine the mayhem? But anyway, what Arn Anderson says, after meeting Mongo, I realized he's as at home in the penthouse as he is the gutter.
He wrote that?
And, man, did he pin that right. So tell him, that a way to get it right, and kiss my ass, too.
Hey, he is he not the funniest guy that ever lived, Steve?
I just said a while ago, Flair, being in the locker room with you guys, we had some guys, but before the matches, like before the football game, you better be serious. But in the wrestling locker room with these guys, because the hours you spend in the locker room with them before the matches even start, God, what a learning process that is. I mean, somebody should have been documenting all the hysterical stories. What a book that would have made.
Yeah, God. Well, Mongo, let me tell you something, man. It's Christmas, and I love you. And I'm going to hold you to the 16th.
Merry Christmas.
That week.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you and your family, buddy.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. Have fun and be happy, for God's sake.
That's it. So, Conrad, ask him the usual question if he wants to plug anything.
Absolutely, yeah. I know we want to go ahead and mention that you can go check out Mongo McMichael's in Romeoville right there in Illinois. Is there anything else?
Well, it's only a couple of games left, and you can get it on the Internet. You know, people around America tune into the, log on to the radio show on AM 1000, ESPN AM 1000 here. And, boy, I'm filtered there because they have a dump button, but they get it.
We got one of those too. We're gonna have to listen to this back before we submit it.
I'm sure Huntsville, Alabama, being in the Bible Belt, that there's a few fucking things you can dump out of this conversation. Yeah. So you won't lose your FCC license. Yeah.
Man, we are nationwide on CBS Radio and Play.it, and we appreciate you joining us on the program today. Check him out online. If you haven't already, you should check out his show. It's based out of Chicago, ESPN AM 1000. And, of course, check out his restaurant right there in Romeoville. Hook it up.
And I'm in a band, too, called the Chicago Six with Dan Hampton and Otis Wilson. We all sing our songs. Dan plays the bass, I play the rhythm guitar, and Otis beats his little tambourine. And we got 3 other pickers from Chicago. But look us up on the Internet, Chicago Six. We'll come play your event and give you some stories like this on stage.
Rick, we need to arrange this. There needs to be a meet and greet for Woo Nation listeners in Chicago when Steve's band is playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
we got to line that up.
We're playing the next event is we're playing the Ameristar Casino. I think right the day after you get to town, Flair. So don't ruin me. I don't want to sound like a frog on stage the next day.
Well, as long as I know you're on vodka, I'm fine. I was a little worried. I wasn't going to invite you out if you couldn't drink.
Yeah. Here, let's drink some Jack Daniels, and I'm in the floor. Oh, he can't drink no more. No, I'm just in a diabetic coma.
I'm there January 13th and 14th. That's Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, it's just a few days before that weekend gig at the Ameristar Casino up here.
Yeah, I may just stay the weekend with you.
Well, you might not be able to get away.
I love you, man.
Duct taped in a limo.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
All right, babies. I hope everybody gets what they want for Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Steve.
Sir.
God bless you, buddy.
It's pretty cool we were able to get this one, and he's still the horseman living on the edge of a lightning bolt, or so it sounds.
And Arn Anderson told me to tell you, I left him on Monday, that he was pulling for Alabama. I told him we were going to the game. So he said for that day he's going to be Alabama. He's moving from Georgia.
He was very nice and texted me when Derrick Henry won the Heisman Trophy as well.
Yeah.
So he's one of the good football SEC fans, and we should let everybody know that next week's show will also be taping on Wednesday, but we've got a very special guest, probably our most well-reviewed episode of all time. Who's our guest going to be next week, Greg?
David Manning. Live from Dallas. Live and in color. And by the way, we're going to do it from a local bar. It's New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve. So I feel like we should really provide some entertainment for the fans and let them share in our festive activities.
Let me just go ahead and step out and say whoever is cleaning that podcast up when we upload it to CBS is going to have their hands full with the 3 of us drinking wide open with microphones in our hands.
There we go.
Let's do it. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, Rick. I had a great time.
Okay, thank you, Conrad, very much. I love you, buddy. And I'll see you in Dallas next Wednesday, man.
Woo, woo, woo.
Roll Tide. Woo! Merry Christmas, everybody.